So something pretty astonishing happened in a federal courtroom in Maryland. Um, it was either yesterday, Friday, or the day before. I think it was yesterday. The it was a hearing about the Maryland father who was erroneously deported on the flights with all of the alleged Venezuelan gang members to a gulag torture style prison in El Salvador. And this Maryland father is here in the United States legally and had fled El Salvador because El Salvadoran gangs like MS-13 had been threatening to kill him. And he had actually been granted special protection from deportation previously by a federal judge. This guy obviously tried to communicate all of this to ICE agents when they picked him up. Oh, what's it been, a month ago? But they deported him anyway. And his attorneys obviously have been fighting that in the courts, and they've been doing that in front of a federal judge in the state of Maryland. During this hearing, the DOJ has admitted all of this. The DOJ admitted all of this. ICE admitted this in a declaration to the court. This was a mistake, but since he's outside of our jurisdiction, we can't get him back. And the judge is like, fuck off. And following this hearing, the judge ordered them to return this man to the United States by no later than 11:59 p.m. this coming Monday, April 7th, I guess. And during the hearing, the judge was asking some very specific and pointed questions to an attorney for the DOJ named Erez Reveni. And attorney Reveni reportedly said to the judge, "So, Your Honor, my answer to a lot of these questions is going to be frustrating. I am also frustrated that I have no answers for you on a lot of these questions." And the attorney for the Department of Justice, because, okay, when we as attorneys are in a courtroom and we are interacting with a judge and we are answering direct questions from a judge, I don't care what administration you work for, I don't care what your political leanings are, we have taken an oath individually as attorneys, regardless of who we work for. We are officers of the court, period. And there are ethics considerations and requirements that we have to abide by if we want to keep our law licenses. And so this attorney was being honest with this judge and said, "I have yet to receive satisfactory, complete, or honest answers from my client such that I might be able to respond to Your Honor's questions." His client is the Trump administration. And one legal analyst for MSNBC said, essentially, this attorney said, "My client is not telling me the full and complete truth, or my client isn't providing me with information that I find satisfactory enough to give to you, Judge. It's an extraordinarily telling moment by a career civil servant having served in the DOJ for 15 years, as this attorney Reveni had." He was essentially saying to the judge, "My client's playing games with me. They're playing games with me too, Your Honor, not just Your Honor, not just the court." It was astonishing to read this and realize what had happened. And so now, of course, that attorney has been placed on indefinite leave by the Department of Justice for failure to zealously advocate for the DOJ, meaning fucking lie. Again, it's like, I don't care who your client is, I don't care who you work for. If you lie to a federal judge, you're gonna get some consequences for that. Period. And they're going to be worse than any consequence you can suffer from the hands of your employer or the Department of Justice, because federal judges can file state bar complaints against you and complaints against you with the federal bar and have your law license yanked. And I mean, On these immigration cases, Trump and Pam Bondi and the DOJ have been cycling through attorneys like crazy, because I think a lot of these attorneys at the DOJ have been communicating to them, I am not going to go into a federal courtroom and lie to a federal judge on your behalf because I will lose my law license. And so now this attorney who refused to lie for the DOJ to a federal judge has now been placed on indefinite leave by the DOJ. But he still has his law license. He did the right thing.